The final results of the People's Assembly elections of the first legislative term are announced as women win 30 seats. Russia warns that certain news media reports about the training of Syrian armed men in Kosovo are very dangerous and contravene Annan's plan. Mood says the number of UN observers in Syria has risen to more than 200 and their work is proceeding well. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our news for today. Judge Khalaf Al-Azawi, chairman of the Higher Committee of Elections, has announced the final results of the elections of the People's Assembly held on the 7th of this month. Al-Azawi said the elections were held under the new constitution and the General Elections Law of 2011. He added that citizens exercised their election right and performed their national duty with a high sense of responsibility and in an atmosphere of freedom, democracy, honesty, and transparency.
لقد عكست نتائج هذه الانتخابات أوسع تمثيل للشعب.
The election process went smoothly and it reflected the widest representation of the people in all of their parties and categories. The elections shed light on the special status that women enjoy in the society and their participation in shouldering the responsibility and taking part in building the homeland. The number of the female winners of the People's Assembly's election has reached 30, and this is a good percentage.
The Russian Foreign Minister has expressed concern over reports and various news media on contacts between Syrian opposition representatives and the authorities of the so-called Republic of Kosovo. The ministry said such a step contravenes the UN Special Envoy Kofi Annan's plan, supported by the international community as a whole. In a statement, the ministry warned that turning Kosovo into a training field for armed fighters may become a dangerous factor in undermining stability far beyond the Balkan region. It called on international bodies working in Kosovo to take all necessary measures to curb the implementation of such intentions. The statement pointed out that the matter is not only confined to exchange of viewpoints on forming separatist movements that aim at toppling current regimes, but also on training Syrian armed men on Kosovo territories and in areas geographically similar to Syrian lands. The statement of the Russian Foreign Ministry added that the possibility is not ruled out that training centers have been established in bases previously used by the so-called Kosovo Liberation Army. Mr. Gennady Gatilov, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister, had earlier affirmed that Russia would foil any draft resolution at the UN Security Council allowing military intervention in Syria. He referred to the involvement of Al-Qaeda in the terrorist attacks witnessed by Syria during the past few days. He told reporters in Moscow today that Russia would never approve of any resolution that allows the use of force against Syria. He also drew attention to the fact that the international community is increasingly inclined to see Annan's plan implemented. He referred to the wide popular support the Syrian government receives from its people. He added that Moscow does not see prospects for commencing direct talks between representatives of the Syrian government and the opposition in the near future without ruling out the failure of the conference scheduled on May 16th in Cairo that aims at unifying the Syrian opposition, which is deeply fragmented. Concerning the Syrian-Russian military cooperation, Gatilov underlined that his country does not intend to stop its technical and military cooperation with Syria, adding that all weapon shipments are made on legal basis. General Mood has said the number of UN observers has risen to more than 200, and a position was set up for them in Ezzor Governorate. He affirmed that the work of the UN monitors in Syria is proceeding well.
My visits, my activities in Syria and the meetings where we are engaging are continuing in a good way. We are, as I've conveyed to the Syrian people on many occasions. We are extremely impressed in the way we are received. We have good and honest conversations with many stakeholders in many areas, and we are quite confident that we are opening doors, opening windows, and we are seeing that the observers, even today, when we have dramatic incidents like the one in Al Rastan yesterday, they're having a calming effect on the situation on the ground. So once again, I'm deeply impressed by the Syrian people I meet everywhere. Even in very difficult circumstances, they greet us, they meet us with the warm hospitality of the Syrians. Now we have more than 200 observers on the ground. We established a team site in Deir yesterday. We were well received in Deir as well. And we are boosting the numbers in the other team sites. And now I'm going to see another diplomat. So, thank you.
Competent authorities foiled an infiltration attempt by an armed terrorist group into the Syrian territories near a Daraa site in Idlib suburb along the Turkish-Syrian borders. Border guards clashed with the terrorist group, killing and wounding a number of them, as others fled into the Turkish territories and were escorted by cars waiting for them on the Turkish side. Authorities also foiled last night another infiltration attempt by an armed terrorist group near Al-Msherfe site and Homs suburbs along the Syrian-Lebanese borders. Sana correspondent reported that the terrorist group fled into the Lebanese territories after they clashed with competent authorities with no confirmation of casualties. Within the framework of targeting the national experts, an armed terrorist group assassinated today Brigadier Nizar Hussein and his driver near Shinshar intersection on Homs-Damascus highway. News correspondents quoted a source as saying that the terrorist group opened fire on Brigadier Hussein and his driver Hussein Suleiman as they were heading to work, killing both of them. Brigadier Hussein was survived by his wife, 2 sons, and 2 daughters. An explosive charge prepared by terrorists exploded inside a 3-story building in Kermish-Shol quarter in Banias, leaving several casualties and destroying the building and causing damages to other neighboring houses. A source at the governorate was quoted as saying that Adnan Muhammad al-Masri, Yahya Ahmad al-Zir, and Badr Muhammad al-Daya were killed in the blast of the explosive device they were preparing. The source added that 3-year-old child Shahda Shaban died when the building collapsed. And further details, Abdullah Daya, a resident of the building, said at 12:30 after midnight, the sound of a strong explosion was heard inside the building and caused it to collapse. He said fire brigades and ambulances came to the site to rescue the victims from under the rubble. His wife and 3 children were moved to Banias National Hospital. The Lebanese Safir Daily revealed that 5 Tunisians were killed in Syria and a 6th one is still missing. The newspaper added that all the Tunisians came from Ben Kardan area in Tunisia. The families of the 6 Tunisians admitted receiving phone calls from them while they were in Syria. The newspaper pointed out that a videotape appeared on the Facebook showing the 5 persons with Al-Qaeda flag behind them. In the Lebanese city of Tripoli, Lebanese army troops deployed across the areas affected by fighting and removed explosives planted by gunmen. News reports said that cautious calm has returned to different neighborhoods, punctuated by occasional fire exchange. The city witnessed heavy clashes during the last 2 days as the death toll rose to 8 people, including 1 Lebanese soldier. 60 other people were also wounded, including 2 army soldiers. With this, we conclude our news bulletin for today. For more news about Syria and the region, you can visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Up next, the latest business of news with the Radio Korean after a short break.